Kim. First off, I apologize for any glare. It's cloudy out today, so I've had to put in more lights than I normally do, which causes a little bit more glare, but we're just gonna do our best. Happy New Year. Mine is off to a good start reading-wise. I have finished 2 books. One I had started reading at the end of last year, but finished on New Year's Day. That's The Heaven Official's Blessing Volume 2. I will put a link in the description to my review of the first volume, which I really loved, and I continue to love this series. I'm going to apologize in advance if I mispronounce anything. I do my best, and there is a pronunciation guide for some names in the back of the books, but not all the names, and also I'm not always sure I'm still understanding the pronunciation guide correctly, so I'll do my best. Feel free to correct me in the comments if I'm saying something just miserably wrong. The series, it focuses on a character named Xie Lian, who was a prince in ancient China, and then he ascended to heaven, fell, ascended again, fell again, and is now on his 3rd ascension. He's considered rather unlucky now because of everything, all the tribulations he's been through, and it's complicated. In any case, he has this semi-romance with a character he calls San Lang, but I guess the character's real name is Hua Qiong, and a lot of people refer to him as the Crimson Rain Sought Flower, which I assume is what his name translates to. But he is a ghost king of sorts, like king of a king of the ghost realm, or the underworld equivalent here. And yeah, so in this volume, Xie Lian is sent to the Ghost Kingdom to find a missing heavenly official who has sent up the equivalent of an SOS flare. And of course there's some romantic tension when he, meets Hua Qiong again. And it's kind of episodic, and yet there's still a through line. So we get, the story of him going into the Ghost Kingdom to find the heavenly official, and then they end up also in the cave of a different ghost, he's not a king, but he's, another kind of hierarchical person who turns out, well, I don't want to give spoilers, but in any case, there's that. And then at the end of this volume, we go back in time and see Xie Lian during his mortal life as a prince in, ancient China, and we get, a little bit of that story. So there's some episodic nature to some of it, but it does all kind of tie together as well. So the flow is good, I think. I recently learned that there's an anime for this, which I really want to watch, but at the same time don't want to watch until I've finished the books, because I don't want the anime to ruin the story for me. I'm enjoying it so much. I gave it 5 stars because this is, my thing. But as always, I give the caveat that if you're not used to, or you don't enjoy Asian literature in translation, because a lot of people find it dry or awkward to read, or laborious in different ways, because the style is distinct and it's different from Western style literature, then it might not be for you. But I do think the story is absolutely so much fun. I love the characters, I love the interactions, I love the romantic tension works for me. So yeah, I don't know. It's 5 stars for me, and if it's your thing, and maybe you wouldn't want to read it, but you would want to watch the anime. Like if you're like, oh, I don't know if I'd like to read, the translation. I'd say give it a shot if you're curious, but if not, then maybe the anime, if you just want to get the story, would be a good option for you. The other thing I read yesterday, I went down I went on down to Japantown and found Nozaki-kun 15. And I got it in English and Japanese, so I could keep practicing my Japanese. And I also got 16 in Japanese. They didn't have it in English. I don't know. It may not be out in English yet. So I did sit down and finish volume 15 in English because that's faster for me, obviously. But I'm going to use it to practice. You know, it's nice to have the English and the Japanese, and you read the Japanese and then you check the English to make sure that you're understanding it correctly. Or if you're like me and you've read this already, maybe you pick up the Japanese one knowing more or less what it says and practice that way. That's just me, obviously. But again, I continue to love Nozaki-kun. It makes me laugh. It is my go-to when I'm feeling kind of down, at least most of the time. My favorite manga and the like are my go-tos when I'm, you know, in a bad mood or in a reading slump or anything. Like I picked up Tokyo Babylon in November. So again, I gave this 5 stars. It continues to be amusing and cute and sweet, and you know, I laugh out loud pretty regularly when I'm reading this. In fact, my whole family's like, "Oh, we know when you're reading Nozaki-kun because we can hear you cackling from the other room." So, you know, that's that. I've got some library books. I posted on Instagram and on my Blue Sky pictures of my TBR. If you want to go find that and look at my like literal physical stack of books and tell me what you think I should read next. What I picked up next is one of my library books because obviously library books trump anything I own. They have a due date. They have to get read and returned. So I'm reading Death by Misadventure by Tasha Alexander. I feel like I've heard the name Tasha Alexander before, but I don't think I've ever read anything by her, but I picked this up because it was on display and it looked interesting, and it's set in 1906, Bavaria, you know, murder mystery. Everybody's in a castle in the winter and somebody's gonna die, and you know, I only just started it, but so far so good. I'm enjoying it. And I'm also rereading The Ghost by Robert Harris, the book upon which the Ghost Rider movie was based on with Ewan McGregor, and I think it was Pierce Brosnan in there with him. But yeah, so I love that book. I love that movie. Dominic Noble should do a video comparing the two because it's been a long time since I've read it or watched it, so now I'm curious. But like, the person to do a good job with that would be Dom. And yeah, that's where I'm at. I hope you're off to a good start with the new year, reading wise. But hey, I'll put my bingo board up, but I've got 2 squares covered already, so that's a good start. And until next time, take care.